From the Delhi studios of Republic TV, it's time for The Debate.
And thank you for staying with us here on The Debate. I'm Deepthi Sachdeva with you, and there is no other story today that has more relevance than the story that Republic not just broke, but Republic also followed. Christain Michel, the man who knows everything about the Agusta Westland scam, is en route to Delhi. He's going to be spilling beans. Not just that, we are also looking at the big Bharat Mata Ki debate that continues to grab headlines. All that and much more on this edition of The Debate as we tell you more about what is going to be defining this election season, both for 2018-2019. The first debate is Christain Michel, and the second debate is about the big face-off on the Bharat Mata Ki Jai. Has the Prime Minister actually countered Rahul Gandhi effectively? Do let us know what you think on both those issues as we get you our top stories on this edition of The Debate. First up, it is the biggest ever diplomatic victory for the Narendra Modi government. India gets the Agusta middlemen. Extradited and put on a flight from Dubai. Michel to land in India shortly. Will the family front name the political family? All eyes on Christain Michel questioning now. The Bharat Mata controversy is becoming a bigger flashpoint this election season.
की हाजिरी में कांग्रेस के नामदार के फतवे के चूर-चूर करके 10 बार भारत मां की जय बुलवाई.
The Prime Minister, like that, is giving it back to Rahul Gandhi after he taunts using Bharat Mata slogans. And did a pre-planned hate campaign kill the Dadri investigator SHO Subodh Singh. Republic is investigating the truth of what happened in Bulandshahr. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, that is in another few minutes, you'll have the Agusta middleman Christain Michel who will land in India. It's a story broken on Republic at 6 this evening, and it's already causing tremors this election season because he's the man whom the Narendra Modi government has successfully extradited from Dubai. He knows every secret of this 3,600 crore UPA era scam. Yes, he does. He knows what the FAM stands for. He knows who AP is, and it is only a matter of time before he takes names and he spills the beans. So should the Gandhis be worried? This is everything you need to know on that story, and then we actually begin our debate with our panel of guests.
On The Debate tonight, the biggest diplomatic victory for the Modi government. The man who knows every secret of the UPA era defense scam. The man who knows details of the kickback trail. And the man who knows the names of netas involved. Agusta Westland middleman Christain Michel is being extradited from Dubai. He's expected to land in India shortly, and Republic TV was the first to tell you.
That Christain Michel will be extradited tonight. He will be put on a plane by the Dubai government tonight. He will return to India most probably before midnight, and this has been confirmed by Christain Michel's lawyer, who has spoken to Republic TV.
The stage was set. We got a confirmation at 10 p.m. on September 18th.
The United Arab Emirates is going to be extraditing Agusta Westland middleman Christain Michel to India.
The signs were clear. Arun Jaitley dropped the hint during his interview to Arnab on Nation Wants to Know.
Why can't you get back Christain Michel? You have excellent relationships. When
No, no.
Mr. Modi went there, all the sheikhs
All
lined up to meet
all
him.
you know is the last word has not been spoken. It's going through a process in that country.
You're indicating something.
No, it's going through a process in that
In
country. In Dubai. And at the culmination of the process, we have to wait for that result.
Interestingly, even Sushma Swaraj is in UAE, holding talks with her counterpart.
Christain Michel, the Agusta Westland middleman, would be finally touching down in New Delhi. But what exactly does Michel know? Well, here is the list. The FAM mentioned in the budget sheet, the AP also mentioned in the budget sheet, and in fact the Mrs. Gandhi that's been mentioned by him in the letter. Also would be revealed by Michel is a list of politicians and the bureaucrats and other accomplices in the bureaucracy that were involved in the Agusta Westland massive scam.
From bribes and bureaucrats to netas and family, he knows it all. And we'll soon know which politician is AP and which family got the kickbacks. Does Michel's extradition spell trouble for Congress this election season? Let's debate.
So is this serious trouble, viewers, for the Gandhis? Have they actually lost the moral right to stand on an anti-graft platform? That's a question we'll take in to our panel of guests. And do remember, this is a story developing by the minute. Republic keeping you ahead on the biggest story this election season, something that will have ramifications, believe me, till 2019. Nalin Kohli is a national spokesperson of the BJP and an advocate. He's joining us. A.K. Vajpayee Saab is a national vice president of the LJP. Ishkaran Bhandari is a lawyer joining us from our studio. Sujay Katewala is joining us from Mumbai. Professor D.K. Giri, we'll have to find out whether you believe this is good enough or you read politics into this. Sundar Balakrishnan is a political commentator. Professor G.V.R. Shastri, Dinesh Vashne, Professor P.L. Vishweshwar Rao is also completing our panel. And I'll first up take it to Professor G.V.R. Shastri. How big a trouble this is, Mr. Shastri, for the Congress party?
I don't think any trouble, because this nation is, because recently the Supreme Court Chief Justice had said nothing is shocking to us. Similarly, there is nothing that is shocking to this nation, because every time, I don't know what for he is coming on his own. These people are claiming that they are bringing him back. Is it not true that Mr. Malia left in front of them? Is it not true Mr. Choksi left in front of them? Is it not true Modi is left and everybody is left in front of them? And now they are claiming that
So
it is
you don't want the Augusta Westland scam, then
even one document
to be investigated.
No,
I'll let Nalin Kohli come in. Nalin, the first counter that comes in from G.V.R. Shastri is that how can you today claim credit when it's under your watch that you have Vijay Mallya, Nirav Modi, everyone running away?
What kind of credit? What is the achievement here? What is the achievement?
Nalin.
I want to know what is the strategic achievement to exploit towards this nation. What is the achievement this nation wants to know?
One second, GVR, 1 second. Let Nalin, yeah.
I am not hyper here.
Nalin, very quickly.
So anyway, as you know, I don't like to interrupt anybody, and I like to make my point without interruption. First of all, to believe that he's coming on his own is a ludicrous argument, even ridiculous, because he has resisted every attempt to come here, and he's coming after the due process that he followed in the Dubai courts failed. Failed at the first instance, failed at the appellate instance, and the court held clearly that it is not any kind of political or racial or religious reason or persecution. The second is Prime Minister Modi's government is chasing each one person who has left this country or has indulged in bribery or corruption or is wanted. When the courts in the foreign lands decide, they will automatically follow to this country. So that doesn't mean that the government has got any hand or conspiracy in the timing. We have to respect the decisions of the foreign courts. This is a victory for the government, because after all, Mr. Michel is a key person. I have not interrupted you, Mr. Shastri. You will have to have the patience to hear me. Then say what you wish to have. There you have every right to have a counter viewpoint. So now the third part is, here is a situation that the bribe givers are being prosecuted in Italy. Who are the bribe takers in India? That must come out. It's public money.
Okay.
Mr. Michel is known to have visited India some 300 times in a period of 15 years, which means 15-20 times a year. Through multiple shell companies, got some hundreds of crores from this company, Agusta Westland. For what? So these are serious questions. It's a shot in the arm of the investigation. And I think India is closer to knowing the truth. We should welcome it. How can there be anybody here who is celebrating to say that no, this is not the truth, should not be known, or Christian Michel should not be coming back?
Absolutely. We want to get down to the bottom of this, Nalin. We want to get down to the bottom of this. We want to know who got these kickbacks, what was the money trail. And also, Suresh Nakua is with us. He's a political analyst. 1 second, GVR, 1 second. GK Giri, how do you look at this? Will you want to congratulate the government? The government is walking the talk when it comes to corruption. 1 second, GVR. GVR, 1 second. 1 second, GVR. I think we need to find answers. DK Giri.
Yeah.
1 second, GVR. Don't tell me that, the government here is dictating foreign courts. Because that entire argument is laughable, DK.
The moves that have been done, all the right moves that have been done on
I would agree with Nalin Kohli. I won't speculate on how he is coming, but we'll welcome his return. And if he is going to spill the beans, so be it. I think it's a good development. Whether he's coming under extradition or coming on his own, it doesn't matter. But he's coming back and he's going to reveal names. Yeah, that would be good.
No, he's definitely not coming back on his own. He's definitely not coming back on his own. No, one second, gentlemen.
Government needs to be congratulated. If government has really worked on this, it is this. But like Arun Jaitley said, let the process be complete. Yeah, so fair enough. If it has come by the efforts of the government,
why are you GVR? Why are you getting so rattled? He has not even touched our audience. No, 1 second. No, GVR. GVR, 1 second. Ishkaran. Is the opposition already nervous?
He should not be permitted to raise doubts like this. He should not be permitted to misguide the people at large. This is a national television. You have no right to misguide like this. Unless you have a fact with you, you can't misguide the people like this. I'm sorry. No. Due process which was established in 2015 has finished and he is coming back. You should welcome it.
Mr. Choksi,
you should welcome it.
GVR, 1 second. No, GVR. I think where he's looking at it, I don't know why should you get worried like this. GVR.
Who are these two
GVR, watch Paisa, 1 second. No, GVR, I think let's stick to the topic. Why should we not talk about this man? Why should Ishkaran we not talk about this man? And he's coming after everything happened in the Dubai court. The Dubai court, Ishkaran rejected his appeal.
Let us stick to the facts here, not fantasy, that he is coming on his own. He enjoyed
GVR, 1 second. You can't get rattled like this. GVR, 1 second.
Let us not live in fantasy. He opposed his extradition at every
step. Are you already scared, GVR? Are you already scared?
He opposed his extradition in the court at every step. 1 second. By shouting, nobody will understand a thing. Don't shout for no reason. Don't shout for no reason. There is a fact that at every step of the case, he opposed his case in Dubai court. Dubai court rejected his case. He is coming by a court order. This is a matter of fact. You can't shove fact under your loud voice. This is a court order.
Sundar, is then the opposition trying to say that because everything is linked to elections, the Indian government dictated foreign courts also?
Not a political prosecution. That is the order of the court. Obey the order of the court.
It is a shame to claim that he is being brought back to India.
GVR.
Dare to even claim it.
GVR, 1 second, Sundar. I don't understand, GVR. Why are you losing your breath?
You don't know how to run.
I don't understand. Why should you be defending this man today? Why should you be defending this man tonight, GVR? He is a middleman. There were bribes paid. There were kickbacks paid. No, GVR, 1 Sundar.
Diary alone has not substantial evidence.
Okay,
But now it is being corroborated.
one second. I don't understand. Why should he get nervous?
television.
But Sundar,
What is it? What kind of shock?
Sundar, will we finally have answers to who got the kickbacks?
Everybody shown 1 crore rupee. What is that?
Sundar,
Let these people keep quiet.
GVR,
This will not work.
GVR, you can't
Let
do
these
this.
people keep
GVR,
quiet.
you
This will
can't
not
do
work.
this, I think. This man is coming here. You might not like it, but this man is coming
when
back
his
to India,
interrogation is done in
Sundar.
custody,
And that is the
other
biggest
facts will
story.
come out.
Absolutely,
When his
Sundar.
interrogation is done under custody, other facts will come out. That is the law.
Should the Gandhis be worried?
Yeah.
And he would be confronted with the admitted evidence. Confronted with the admitted evidence.
The story is about corruption, GVR, again and again. You don't let other people
He
speak.
has admitted certain facts. He has
Now,
admitted
GVR.
certain facts.
You don't even know the simple
No.
dynamics of the government.
GVR.
Sorry. No.
Can I?
How you can dictate terms to the
Can
other
I make my
country?
point?
GVR, I don't understand why should you be deflecting the entire course of the debate if you have nothing to be worried about, GVR. 1 second. No, you can't have
You are
anything like
defending
this.
Congress. You are defending Congress.
GVR, 1 second.
That's why
1
you are
second.
worried.
Sundar, we'll have to put your fingers down. No,
You are afraid of the names of these three people
GVR,
will
1
come out.
second.
That's why you
Rajpai
are-
sir, 1 second. The next moment, GVR, you should not speak out of turn. This is a story that Republic has tracked. We will continue to track it because we want answers on corruption. If you don't want answers on corruption, you will not heckle my other panelists. Sundar, should the Gandhis be worried tonight? Should we have
Can I make
answers
my
to
point?
who got these kickbacks?
Yeah, see, let me tell you, we certainly welcome the move. And second thing is, I am not going to link this to the elections.
All right, these are the first images, Niranjan, of Christain Michel. The first images, viewers, that you see of Christain Michel here, the story Republic again is tracking every important detail, every image that you need to see. If you actually look in closely, we'll try to put out a better picture also. But this is the man who's en route right now to Delhi. In the next few hours, he's going to be in Delhi. And you look at the opposition already is flustered. The first exclusive images of that man that you see on your screens. No amount of politicking can actually stop us now from going down to the bottom of this scam called the Augusta Westland scam. Kickbacks were paid, there was a money trail, Niranjan, and we have the first images.
That's the first picture, Dipti, that's the first picture that we've received, in fact, from topmost sources of Christain Michel being, taken into a chartered flight. The first picture, in fact, that we've received, and, Abhishek was able to access this picture, but this is the first picture that we have accessed of Christain Michel being pushed onto a chartered flight. And we've just been able to access this picture. If I can ask my producers to just take this picture on store, I'll be able to just download it once again and treat this picture because I just need to open this picture once again. But the first picture of Christain Michel being pushed onto the chartered flight by Indian agencies. We secured his custody a little after 1 p.m. local time in Dubai. And after we secured him, after we were able to access and secure Christain Michel, this is one of the first pictures that we've been able to access at about 5:30 India time is when he was taken on board a chartered flight and he's en route Delhi. Should be landing in about 1 hour from now. Handing it back to you, Deepti, while we stay on these pictures. It's not down.
Yes. Yes, we see him actually getting on that flight, and I also actually see some Indian officials there escorting him, Niranjan. The first image on our screens, and let me take a quick question to Dinesh Varshne even as we put out that image, and a lot more important details, Dinesh, now that are reaching us. And why should you want to link this with election? It's important to get the real story, Dinesh Varshne. Isn't that the biggest news point?
No, it is important to expose the corruption of all nature, but it is also important to know that he wrote a letter to Modi ji in 2016 and I myself wanted to come to India and reveal everything
and kickbacks, everything, whatever.
So what are you alluding to? What are you alluding to?
Now the question arises is,
he contested extradition
look, he may contest it. Ishkaran, he may contest it. But we would also like to know.
It's a straight question, yes or no. Did he contest the extradition proceedings or not? Simple question, give a yes or no answer. Why can't you give a yes or no answer?
No, and because, no, 1 second, Dinesh, 1 second, gentlemen, because he mentioned Rafale. Now where is the money trail? Where are the netas linked to it? No, Dinesh, 1 second. What we'll do quickly is we'll get in Professor Vishweshwar Rao. He hasn't spoken yet. 1 second, Vajpayee Saab. No, Dinesh, GVR, DK Giri, Sundar Balakrishnan Nalin. Everyone today is getting uncomfortable because they cannot talk about this. Because I think the entire opposition blank. Nalin, 1 second, Dinesh, 1 second. Dinesh, 1 second. We'll speak about everything, but we also have to speak about this Ghotala, this middleman. He's willing to testify. He'll tell us. Now 1 second, Nalin, why is the opposition, Nalin, so rattled? 1 second, Dinesh and Vajpayee Saab, 1 second. Let's get in, Nalin. Nalin, why is the opposition still not willing to believe that we'll get down to the bottom of this? There is the Rafale counter, but where is anything else that has come out on Rafale? And does this not deflate the entire opposition's counter, and particularly Rahul Gandhi, who was speaking on Rafale? Because what morality has the Congress party got to speak on corruption? Nalin.
Well, the first point is that in the Constitution, everyone has a right to put their point of view. The second is to understand their point of view. Where does it stand? It's actually deflection. The critical news today is which everyone should be unanimous on. Somebody here is now coming who can bring light onto the fact who took the bribes. Don't we wish to know where has that public money gone? Hundreds of crores. I mean, is that money not belong to the poorest of the poor in this country? Defense deals, should they not be cleaner? Instead of celebrating that, everyone is raising questions either on timing or saying, let's talk of that. Each one of the debate issues they've asked have been debated on TV. But how is Christain Michel related to Rafale? Today the issue is Agusta Westland, the person who, and then when you say about wanting to join,
your government is fighting corruption. There are bigger corruption cases in India. There are bigger corruption cases in India. Are you fighting them?
Professor Rao, should we not know who the kickbacks were given to when it comes to the Agusta Westland case? Is that not important, Professor Rao?
Run away from the truth.
Italian courts have already said, Italian courts have already said there is no sufficient evidence, in terms of kickbacks, number one. We have to discuss that fact. Second, we need to talk about
sir, if you
what
have
will
no
happen
faith
to
in the Italian courts,
what is going to happen to the bigger cases
there. Nobody is stopping. But I respect the Indian courts, and as an Indian citizen, I'd like to see the Indian courts do their bit under law.
Let me also
I mean, why would you like to not see the Indian courts do what they are supposed to do under law? You are going to transfer the Indian jurisdiction to Italy or to some other country.
I don't understand why is the opposition trying to put an alibi today for this man?
There is a very simple fact. The way they are defending, the way the entire opposition is defending the extradition of a man who is not a part of the political process shows what they have to hide. See the temperature on behalf of see the temperature on behalf of
gentlemen, 1 second. GVR, 1 second. GVR, Dinesh, 1 second. 1 second. Gentlemen, 1 second. GVR, you will continue to defend this man. I'm not interested. Sujoy, 1 second. Sujoy Kadawala hasn't spoken yet. GVR, Agusta Westland. Sujoy Kadawala. Why is the opposition getting so scared? Sujoy, 1 second, gentlemen. Dinesh. I think. 1 second, Vajpayee Saab, Ishkaran. Dinesh, 1 second. Sujoy Kadewala, look at this. This man has not even landed here. He has not even spoken yet. But the opposition is getting so nervous. Why are they nervous?
I tell you,
This one particular act. This one particular event has demonstrated.
One second.
This one particular event has demonstrated the awesome growing might of India, the cooperation of Indian agencies and the leadership and superb diplomacy following due process. This is a message to the whole world that India has emerged. India will not tolerate people who run away. One by one, we'll bring you back. Wherever you may be, at the far corner of the earth, we'll bring you back to follow due process. And therefore, we must encourage such people to come back. We must see to it that they come back. There was a red corner issued, and the Milan Court of Appeals has made us scathing observations. One whole paragraph is devoted in respect of Michel. That all will now be here tested. Again, the statement made before the Dubai prosecution will be treated as evidence over here. He should be made to give a statement under 164, which will be binding against all the co-accused. Everyone will be exposed. Everyone who has taken bribes will be exposed.
Who got the kickbacks?
That's
who
right.
Who doesn't want answers? Why
Everyone in this country wants to know.
Answers today?
Our taxpayers' money has gone where? Into whose pocket? We want to know.
Dinesh, no. You will not heckle him. Sundar, please.
Yeah, see, let me tell you, you interrupted me earlier when I was speaking. See, let me tell you, there are two things which we should understand. Tyagi was, taken into custody about 6 months back, and he was released because there was no trail that was found out to his bank accounts or whatever it is. Now, the same Tyagi has been named, Julie Tyagi has been named by him in front of the Dubai prosecution. Now, even under the, even before the magistrate, if a statement is given, that also has to be proved by the evidence. Now, in this case, the diary, which itself is a very questionable evidence, because in the past 2 cases, whereas in the Ranjit Sinha case and the Birla Sahara case, the diaries were rejected as it is not enough evidence that was rejected by the Supreme Court. Now, with these 2 things, if the government, if our
for the
courts are
longest
able
time,
to
the
prove
opposition said the government is doing nothing when it comes to corruption. This is a government now that did not even let you know what it was doing.
No.
Look at how fast the government moved. Now, are you then telling me, because this is not linked to elections is what you say, but why should the opposition see red here?
No, see, what I'm going to make is every person who is concerned in this deal should be arrested. Now, there was a deal which was done by the Chhattisgarh government also, where in the sealed envelope, the statement was given to the Supreme Court. That also has to be proved. There should not be any selective naming and shaming under this deal. That is what point which I want to make, and there should be every person who is involved in this should be named, shamed, and tried, and tested, and arrested.
Sundar, 1 second.
The person who are accused and whose
why are we joining the dots? DK Giri, is the opposition fair in saying that everything is linked to elections? Yeah. Should we not focus on the case itself? The case is huge.
No.
There is a diary, there is a secret note that mentions the FAM, the AP. We want to know who DK Giri is that AP.
Yes, certainly the country wants to know, and this is a good development. But the concern is that only selectively cases are being pursued. There are other cases which are not talked about at all.
How do you know? Where is the proof, DK Giri? Nalin Kohli, are you being selective?
That was promised.
Nalin Kohli, are you being selective when it comes to corruption?
Fair enough. Absolutely. That is the point I want Nalin Kohli to answer. Are you not being selective? What about the Modi?
Everyone who has left the country is being relentlessly pursued. There is no question about being selective. Mr. Giri, may I answer?
Yes, your government
So, how are you saying that Prime Minister Modi's government is being selective? Everyone who's overseas, who has in some way or the other defrauded the banks or defrauded anything, they are all being investigated. You can't call that selective. As the victories happen from the courts of law, they will all start resulting in they will all start leading to results. And I think the important thing is also, Christian Michel, yes, when Sundar says about the diary and all, but that is not the only thing. When he joins, sir, let me finish, sir, let me finish. I'm sure you can speak after me.
15 lakh each.
Please, may I just, it is not my government, sir, it is your government also, it's the government of India. So it represents
why are
all
you being
Indians.
selective? Why are we being
All Indians
selective?
have to be united.
Why should we not credit the government where credit is due? Suresh Nakhwa, I want to get in Suresh Nakhwa. One second. We'll take it to a guest. Suresh Nakhwa, because you've been closely associated with this case. You've been working on this case, Suresh Nakhwa. How important a development this is?
People from your party are implicated.
And is this really linked to elections as the opposition has been claiming?
Directly aimed at Congress, then you are going whole hog. But whenever there are people from your party, you are keeping quiet. That is the moot question. That is the question you need to answer. We are happy that he is coming back. But what about the other cases? The Panama case, the money in the Swiss bank, Nirav Modi, what about that?
In March.
Yeah.
No, I don't understand, DK Giri, that you mentioned Nirav Modi, you mentioned Vijay Mallya. Today the Crown prosecution is hearing that case. Tomorrow if Vijay Mallya actually lands in the country before 2019, you will again tell me this is linked to elections. So you're doomed if you do, you're doomed if you don't, DK Giri and Sundar. Does the criminal justice system internationally work according to the whims and fancies of the Indian government, Sundar? Is that what we are saying, Sundar?
They are making this argument. The charge is that this government is being selective and being vindictive and partisan. What about the Panama Papers? What about the Swiss bank money? That was in their manifesto. Why do you forget it? 15 lakhs per capita money had to come back to this country.
Even Mr. D.K. Giri is convinced that
I want to ask.
Intentions of Narendra Modi government are good and he is going to pursue the case till the end. We should know what does FM stand for.
And for your information, DK Giri and Sundar.
No, selectively.
Sundar, just few days ago, you had Arnab in conversation with the finance minister, where I think he dropped the closest hint of what India was doing.
In my account.
Sundar, why should we not give credit to the government where it's due?
Absolutely.
Sundar,
you must give credit.
If they had
let's rise above politics when it comes to corruption. It's about huge money. Sundar?
I said in the beginning, I welcome the move. Probably you don't understand what I'm saying. And second thing is, I also said that I am not going to link this to the elections. Probably you don't understand this also. The two caveats which I said very clearly is the diary, which is the evidence which has been rejected by the Supreme Court in the past two cases, which is going to be a very, very crucial evidence which this government is claiming that has to be proved. And second thing is,
so you know, Sundar, either you're for corruption or you're against corruption, and you should understand that too, I think, Sundar. Sundar, why should we look at grey areas where this man is yet to come here?
Possible?
Because you're already procrastinating something. Nalin, the opposition already is building a premise.
Madam,
because just in case tomorrow this man turns an approver and he puts out names, the opposition will say, listen, we told you, this is political vendetta.
Why are you saying that I am against? Why are you saying I am for
I will agree with
corruption or against corruption?
Because after all, no, 1 minute. No, Sundarji, let me just, Sundarji, may I just add to your point? May I add to your point, sir?
Yes.
As an advocate also, I can tell you that you are correct. That evidence has to be proved in the court of law. That is how the process is. That is what the law is. But let's not forget that the evidence cannot be restricted only to what we know in the public space. These are investigative agencies that may have several questions, several leads. When someone as important as Christain Michel is now part of the investigative process, many leads and many issues which was blocked for lack of information will open up. And obviously the prosecution has to succeed on the basis of evidence, not surmises. That's why due process of law is so elaborate. Due process of law is so respected in India. But we cannot run away from the fact that it's a great victory for India to get someone who's as important as him, who was resisting coming back to India, and we have scored a diplomatic win to bring him back. So I think it's a celebration in terms of getting the process against corruption going. We must let the courts do their own job. We must let the agencies do their own job.
So Sundar,
see, I said
Sundar, why should you not agree with that argument that Nalin is making?
And second thing is, I am agreeing. Where am I saying no, I'm not agreeing? I am agreeing. But the point what I want to make is they should also probe the Augusta Westland deal of the Chhattisgarh government. That also has to be probed. That is what I expect from this government. They should not be selective.
We must not know what the FAM stands for here, Professor Rao. We should not know what AP is, what the CAG is. But because we want to play politics, Professor Rao, we'll say everything is political.
Political because we are simply saying, let there be a joint parliamentary committee to investigate the Rafale deal. Extradition, there could be problems in getting Vijay Mallya and others.
No, what about the Augusta Westland scam, Professor Rao? 1 second. Let's take it step by step. Step by step, Professor Rao.
The government is committed to
why should we not first up investigate what happened in the Augusta Westland scam?
They are trying to say, what is the, it's a small thing. Constitute a joint parliamentary committee, investigate comprehensively into the Rafale deal. Let the people of this country know about what happened.
But where is the evidence? Where is the evidence? Now, I don't understand, Nalin. I'll let Nalin quickly respond. Yeah, Nalin.
What is the problem in investigating?
This is really so funny. In fact, I feel a little empathy for Professor Rao that he's so confused that he's mixing Christain Michel, who's wanted in the Agusta Westland, with the Rafale deal. I mean, okay, one is a helicopter, the other is an aeroplane, both fly in the air. That doesn't mean you have to confuse it. Each investigation is in its own thing. Rafale is before the Honorable Supreme Court. He doesn't have the patience to know what the Supreme Court is going to decide. And where there is already a process of bringing back, he's saying mix the two. I mean, this is either he's confused or he's giving an argument of convenience.
You are saying, we are committed to elimination of corruption. You are saying, we are eliminating corruption. Why are we saying? It's a bigger deal. 46,000 crores. People of this country are interested in knowing how did they get the deal? When did they float the company? What is their experience?
Professor Rao, there are deals of even 2 lakh crores. 12 lakh crores have gone to the farmers of India.
Professor Rao. Watch paisa.
There are money aspects. There should be no corruption. That's all.
Because today I think Dinesh today, the entire plank that the opposition, Dinesh.
We are going to announce the name of the middleman.
One second. Dinesh.
Rafale deal you can't discuss. There is no FIR.
Everywhere the government of India is showing the privilege of the state. Privilege of the state claim. Why the privilege of the state?
Why are you misguiding the people?
Why selective?
Why are you afraid of?
I'm asking you why
if the 3 names are disclosed on the basis of the diary,
everybody
why the statement of this man? Then what's wrong with you?
The Communist Party speaks against corruption.
No. 1 second. Dinesh, one second. Watch paisa. It's an interesting situation. 1 second, gentlemen. Dinesh, it's an interesting situation. You want to talk about everything of alleged corruption, but something that is established as a case of corruption, Dinesh. Dinesh, 1 second, Dinesh. You're talking of alleged corruption, but you're not talking about a case that is established corruption. Dinesh,
corruption is corruption.
Corruption.
1 second.
Everything
must go.
Dinesh. So the very fact today, Ishkaran, that the entire opposition, 1 second, Dinesh, I want to steer this debate back to the Augusta Westland case. That is what we want answers to. 1 second, Dinesh. Ishkaran, what are these kind of reactions already telling us? Ishkaran.
Let us first.
एक सेकंड नो दिनेश बुलंदशहर पर बात करेंगे अभी आप ऑगस्टा वेस्टलैंड पर फोकस करिए क्योंकि आप सब चीजों पर बात करते हैं कि ऑगस्टा वेस्टलैंड स्कैम को छोड़कर इश्करन
2 बातें before they start interrupting. First, it is a matter of record that Christain Michel opposed his extradition in Dubai courts. That you can see, 1 second, that you can see by the judgment of the Dubai court. Second, the Dubai court ruled there is no political scapegoating happening. It rejected his claim of being made a political victim. That is also a matter of record. So these 2 things your audience should know, which they are trying to misguide. Third thing in this case is, Once he comes in, it is not only these documents. He will be confronted with the documents. After he is confronted with the documents, custodial interrogation would be done. He will have to answer questions. That is the procedure of law. And once that procedure of law is carried out, they will find more evidence. And if he names people, those people may be arrested. And this acronym of family, FAM, that he is given, leave the aspect of common sense of every individual telling what the family is. Legally, if he gives a statement as accused that this family means this, I am not taking any names. But if he says this family means X family, then that family will be summoned and interrogated. That is the process of law. That is why they are nervous that family may be summoned and interrogated. That is where the nervousness lies.
You are attaching motives.
If he comes and discloses
one second, Dinesh.
Anybody.
Okay, so what we'll do, one second. Dinesh and Ishkaran, please, one second, gentlemen. Gentlemen, one second, no GVR, 1 second. Miss, 1 second, Dinesh and Ishkaran, 1 second, truce. Gentlemen, 1 second. Dinesh, we have Miss Rosemary, who's actually been representing Christain Michel for the longest time. She's live with us on the debate. Let's get our first response. 1 second, gentlemen. Miss Rosemary, thank you for speaking to us on Republic. When was the last time that you spoke to your client, to Christain Michel? Miss Rosemary, can you hear us?
Yes, I can. But I please, I
Ma'am, when was the last time you spoke to your client, Christain Michel?
Can you see
Yes,
me?
we can, ma'am.
And can you hear me there? So please speak slowly if you want to make me questions.
Yes. Ma'am, when was the last time you spoke to your client, Christain Michel? He is en route to Delhi now.
The last time I spoke with him was this morning. He called me from the jail.
What did he tell you?
He said that he was going.
He said that he was going to India, that they will be taking him to India. That's all. He said to me that don't worry, that he will be okay. So I hope he will be okay there. I hope they will take care of him. I hope they will not give him drugs to say what he doesn't want to say, because he's, he wants to be in a healthy state to be interrogated. So I wish everything will be fine for him.
You know, Miss Rosemary, back here we want answers to the entire scam. Who was paid kickbacks? How much money was given to whom? Is he willing to spill the beans?
Listen, this question has been made 1,000 times, and we said another 1,000 times that there is no bribery, there is no evidence. We did many degrees in Italy and India, never ever show any evidence about the bribery. So you are keeping saying about, giving money to families, kickbacks and things like that, no one till now, after 5 years of investigation, had proven anything. So our court of Milan said that he's innocent. I believe that he's innocent. There is no bribery in the whole history. I believe that they are using him, they are sacrificing his life to win the elections. I hope Mr. Modi doesn't need this to win the elections. So I hope he will have a good time in India, that the judge will respect him, and he will be interrogated with all his rights guaranteed.
Miss Rosemary, you're a renowned lawyer yourself, ma'am. Are you saying that India has been dictating foreign countries, foreign courts?
I said that the Indian was here in the whole proceeding. They were part of the proceeding. they had all the rights to do cross-interrogation, to produce it, to submit evidences, and they never did anything. Here in Italy, we never found any evidence about the bribery. So we don't understand why are you taking him there to do what if you haven't done anything here. That's why I have a little bit worry about what they are going to do with him, because of course if you give drugs to him or if you treat him badly, of course he could say something against his wills. I hope he will be free to say what he wants to say and what he has been saying for about 5 years, that he's innocent, that there is no bribery, and our court of Milan find that there is no evidence, so there is no crime.
But Ms. Rosemary, Republic TV has accessed intelligence papers on Christain Michel that says that he entered into criminal conspiracy with the co-accused and some public servants to reduce the service ceiling of the VVIP helicopters from a 6,000 meter to a 4,500 meter. Everything is pending investigation.
No, listen, the change of the height, the fly height that to 60 to 4.5 was before he starts to work to Agusta, Westland and in Italy. This was before. That decision was taken long time before he starts to work. He was called to help the deal because he knew very well the Indian market. And the Italian people chose him because he was working for about 30 years to Augusta Westland, the UK. So he was the best one to deal with the Indian people because he knows very well Indian. He knows the way you are. He knows the marketing. He knows the persons. So they called him to give help because here in Italy we are not used to the Indian market. So he was chosen because he knew the market for about 30 years. That's all. But the change of the Highness was done long time before he starts to work.
But Ms. Rosemary, Christain Michel knows who is the certain Mrs. Gandhi, whose name is mentioned 4 times, twice each on page 193 and page 204 of the Italian court judgment that convicted Orsi and other officials of Finmeccanica. So will he come here and clean the air on who this Mrs. Gandhi is?
Listen, you are talking about the sentence that was already cancelled because we went to the cassation court and then we had another degree in appeal, and they, on page 176 to 184, the last sentence, they talked all about Mr. Michel, and they are just saying the whole part, the 10 pages, that he has nothing to do with the deal, so he's absolutely innocent. This is the last sentence of the Court of Appeal of Milan, page 176 to 184. So as soon as I will be able to get it translated in Hindi, I don't know if I need to translate it in English or in Hindi. I have done already in Arabic because I submitted the sentence to the court of Dubai. As soon as I will be able to give this to the judge, to your judge, to Indian judge, I think he will understand that Mr. Michel is absolutely clean and has nothing to do with the deal. He was just working because...
But the man who knows everything about the scam, about the deal, viewers, is landing in India tonight. Ms. Rosemary, thank you so much for speaking to us here on Republic exclusively. And gentlemen, thank you to all of you also for what of time. But this is a story Republic is tracking very closely. A very, very big statement of intent coming in from the Modi government. Back on the other side with lots more. Don't go anywhere.